All right, I want to welcome everybody to the Friday night leadership call today. First and foremost, I want to congratulate you for being on here, being committed to your future and your success. So wherever you are, wherever you're tuning in, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. We are coming to you from Southern California, Pacific Standard Time, and we are kicking this leadership call off at 6 p.m. Welcome. My name is Christopher Kim. I'm a national director here at Remon. I've been here for about 2 years, and I've been in this industry for about 18, 19 years now. I'm coming up on my 20th year. And prior to this industry, I used to be a K-pop recording artist about 25 years ago. For some of you that know my story, I've had a lot of success, a lot of accolades, a lot of achievements as a singer. But I want to tell you, fame and fortune are two different things. Okay, guys. Getting fame, accolades, that will be equivalent of, going viral or becoming an influencer today, right? But building fortune, attaining fortune, I realized later on in my later adult life that that requires a separate skill. That requires a separate type of a knowledge. And it's all about timing and harnessing the information you have, maybe the leverage you have, the advantage you have, and how to monetize that, right? And that in turn turns to wealth. But for me, network marketing, this industry, direct sales, is what completely changed and revolutionized my life forever. I didn't know the B to business. I didn't have a mentor. During the time I did have success, I didn't have somebody riding my back trying to keep me disciplined. And even in school, right, we don't learn success 101, let alone do we learn how to file our own taxes and things like that. So what I found out about 18 years ago, a very successful gentleman told me one day, he told me, hey, if you're willing to work hard, you're willing to put in the time, you're willing to really have that burning desire, if you're willing to do the work, you'll get the results, and you can live life by your means. And I've never heard such a unique paradigm shift theory like that. But I'm so glad I paid attention, because it was like the trainings like this, it was the uplines that were accountable to me that helped me. So for those of you that are new on this call today, for those of you that just came back from the convention, or somebody brought you on, I want to tell you, I was fortunate enough that somebody shared this information with me, and I kept a lot of this information near and dear. And all I did was application, apply, take action. And soon enough, I was able to see the results that I wanted, and eventually be able to get to a place where I could change the quality of my life. Now, all results aren't guaranteed, all results are different. And that's because it's based on your effort, right? We're all in the same company, selling the same product with the same compensation plan, given the same time in life 24 hours in a day, but we all have different results, right? And that's measured either from your leadership, your experience, and things like that. So I want to just give you this encouragement because if you do apply, if you do take the actions, you can become a success in this business. So before we jump into week 4, for this training topic, before we jump into the recruiting topic, which is one of my favorite topics to cover with you guys, I'm going to be going over some important announcements. So I'm going to cover the announcements and we're going to go ahead and jump into the training for Friday night. All right. So, welcome everybody. I'm Christopher Kim. For those of you that like to connect on social media, my Instagram handle is Chris Kim _junior. Let's get connected. Go ahead and hit that button, follow. I'll keep you guys updated on all the Remon announcements and things like that. So looking forward to connecting with you guys. So with that said, I'm gonna go ahead and jump into the Philippines launch. As you know, over this convention, we did a lot of international announcements. But the cool thing is, for those of you that are in North America, especially North America, you know, we live in the continent where all types of people from all walks of life, from all countries, are actually here in this region. And you could literally build a international business without ever having to leave your backyard. So with that said, I'm going to give you some announcements and updates for the Philippine launch schedule. As you know, October 1st, the House of Remon will be opening over in Manila, Makati. It's one of the most prestigious places in Manila. The Philippine Launch Momentum Series Day 1 will commence. This is the kickoff for the Philippine training. Our North America sales president of sales, Mr. Danny Bay, will be kicking that off. And as you know, October 3rd will be day 2 of the Momentum Series training. And October 5th, the Philippine launch event will be held at the Shangri-La Manila Hotel. October 15th will be the first of commission pay. And as you know, October 31st, we have the Asia convention in Macau. So this is the Philippine schedule. Make sure you guys take a picture of this QR code. We will be doing a grand opening of the Makati office October 1st. For those of you that have a team there, make sure you guys support your team. Make sure you guys take a picture of this QR code. Get in the know. As you know, we also made an announcement for pre-launch into Japan for Q4 of this year, 2025. There is about 3 months left in the year, so we have some amazing news for quite a few markets that we're going to be launching. As you know, the Japan launch schedule. We will be launching our pre-launch site November 25th, December 12th. Open enrollment begins. The pre-launch tour and training dates are to be announced, and December 19th is when the official product shipping will begin. And what is next? Hey, Remon Europe expansion. That's right. A lot of you have been asking, what about Europe? What about Europe? Some of you that have started with me 2 years ago, this was heavily on your mind. And today, this actually came into fruition. So as you know, the UK launch schedule has been announced and released September 23rd. That's when the pre-launch site will officially open. The House of Remon UK and open enrollment and orders begin October 17th. October 18th, we will be commencing the UK pre-launch Momentum Series training with the wonderful Mr. Danny Bay. October 19th, we will be having the UK launch event at the Novotel London Hotel. October 27th, product shipping begins and will commence, guys. All right, this is such an exciting time. You know, during the time of expansion, the leaders right now, you could think of us as like the tip of the spear heading into international expansion. And this is really where the big opportunity is, right? Before the markets open, front running an entire country, guys. So the UK is going to be officially opening October 19th for the launch event. Make sure you guys get a screenshot of this. Make sure you guys snap that QR code for all information. Make sure you guys get registered. It's going to be a life-changing event. And as you know, at the Remon Roadmap convention, we also had some extra European expansion countries announced. As you know, for Q1 2026, we will be going to Italy. Man, you know, this past summer, I had a chance to visit Italy. It is one of the most beautiful places, the best tasting pasta, you know, Lake Como, you know, you guys got to go there, right? So for those of you that know some people out there, make sure you guys start the networking now. And as you know, Spain, Q1 2026, it will be open in Ireland as well, the neighboring country for the UK for 2026. And I'm sure more and more countries will be announced as we get into the European markets. And as you know, Latin America has been announced, and some of the biggest countries for network marketing companies like Colombia, Peru, and Chile will also all be opening Q1 for 2026. So who do you know that speaks Espanol? Who do you know that speaks Spanish? Who do you know that are from these countries? Make sure you become a networking machine. If you focus and you tell yourself, we're going to be going down this route, all of a sudden you're going to meet all these people that have all these connections to these markets, right? So remember, make sure in your mind you make that decision, in your heart you make that leaning forward action decision to make it happen, guys. Now, as you know, the first ever Remont Asia convention is commencing October 30th to November 2nd, 2025. This is going to be in Macau. Macau is a little island off the coast of Hong Kong. It's about an hour away from Hong Kong, 45-minute bus ride. Now, 8 to 9 countries from all the Asian markets will be coming here, and they will be doing a life-changing event. And this first Asia ever convention, Remont convention in Macau, it's going to be called Bloom with Remont. Make sure you guys take advantage of the 10-ticket bundle pack. And as you know, for those that do, you're going to be able to get a free travel kit. Make sure you get a snapshot of this QR code. Make sure you get up to date. Make sure you guys get here on time. It is going to be a life-changing event. And as you know, we announced our second Remont retreat and the first for 2026. Costa Rica, here we come. As you know, we have our signature Jeju Remont retreats, and this is for the directors and above that hit certain qualifications. But for this one, for the first quarter of 2026, the very first Remont retreats, this is open to everybody. All people can qualify. All you need to do is do the money-making activities, do the activities that get you paid, that get you promoted, that get you to sell products, and you're going to accrue something called travel points. And when you accumulate this, you're going to hit certain tiers and qualify to go on these trips. You do more, do the work, you're going to unlock more levels. Do the work, do more, you're going to be able to bring a spouse or a significant other, right? So how to earn travel points. So for customer sales, for every $100 in retail sales you do, you're going to net 5 travel points. One customer will be capped at 35 points, okay? So at customer loyalty, make sure each month that you have 40 active customers, you're going to scoop up an additional 100 travel points. Now, how to earn these travel points? As you know, as you sponsor people with the starter kit EX, you're going to earn 10. As you help somebody get the starter kit plus, you're going to get 50. Starter kit premium, you're going to get 100. Help someone upgrade, then you get a chance to double dip, right? Same thing with rank advancement. Help somebody go senior manager, you're going to scoop up 100 travel points. Help somebody go team leader, you're going to scoop up 300 travel points. Help somebody go director, you're going to scoop up 2,000 travel points. And as you know, as a monthly performance requirement, a little prerequisite for those of you that do open line business, 10,000 BP in a calendar month, you team leaders are going to scoop up an additional 100 travel points. Those of you that do open line team leader group in 30,000 BP, you're going to scoop up an additional 200 travel points. And for those of you that become a director and do 100,000 BP open line director group in a calendar month, you're going to scoop up 300 travel points. And as a disclosure on the monthly travel points, monthly performances, you do not double dip. The highest earned is what will be allotted to you as travel points. So if you go to the drive, when you go to some of the marketing materials, you're going to be able to see the Remont Retreat Costa Rica qualifications. So you're going to be able to see how much you net on customer sales, how much you get for customer loyalty, rank advancing, sponsoring people with starter sets, and your monthly performance. And as you know, here are the qualifications. For those of you that accumulate 1,200 travel points, you qualify for one trip for one. For those of you that get 1,800 travel points, you get a trip for one with $500 reimbursement. 2,800 travel points, you get a trip for two with $500 reimbursement. And 3,500 travel points, you get a trip for two with $1,000 airfare reimbursement. So make sure you guys take a picture of this, make a quick note, jot it down. We will see you in Costa Rica. So the travel point promotion period will be from September 1st, 2025, all the way to the very Last day of January, January 31st, 2026 as the cutoff. And as you know, today is Friday, the last day for September convention kits. These convention kits have been extended till today. The deadline is today, 11:59 Pacific Standard Time. The cutoff is coming today. These are not coming back. Make sure you guys take advantage of the Roadmap Premium 1 bundle, the Roadmap Premium 2 bundle, and the Roadmap Plus bundle. And as you know, for all my people that are interested in even some of the travel kits for the original Roadmap bundle, make sure you take advantage of these. And for all my Canadian planners that are up north, these are the Canadian Roadmap Premium 1 bundle kits, Roadmap Premium 2 bundle, Roadmap Plus bundle, and we got the Roadmap bundle coming your way, priced in CAD at the equivalent of X3 USD. And as you know, we announced the next 2026 Remon North America Convention will be in Southern California, Long Beach, California. I like to also call it Strong Beach, right? One of the most iconic cities in Southern California. There's a lot of fun things to do here for those of you that like to eat, surf and turf, steak, and seafood. There's a lot of cool places to grab a drink, go to the bar. This place is a tourist attraction place. So make sure you guys get registered, get your tickets. The next convention will be February 27th to March 1st. And I'm sure we will also be announcing some possibly some activities, possibly at the House of Remont in Irvine, California as well. So make sure you guys block out those dates. Register now. A single ticket right now is 129. A 10 ticket bundle is coming at you for $9.99. Starting September 9th, the prices will I'm sorry, starting September 9th, this is when it's getting started. But starting from November 1st, the price is going to have a significant jump to 159, and the 10 ticket bundle will jump to 12.99. And as you know, starting from January 1st, these will be sold singular at 169. So make sure you guys take advantage of the 10 ticket bundle. As you know, tickets sell out fast, and from what I was told, a lot of tickets have already been pre-sold. So make sure you guys get prepared. We will see you in Long Beach. Take a picture of this QR code, get a screenshot. All the details will be in this QR code. Join us at the 2026 Remont North America Convention. It will be $279 plus tax to get your room at the Hyatt Regency. I believe Remont blocked out a special block of rooms for Remont planners. So make sure you RSVP before these are completely sold out. And as you know, every Tuesday and Thursday we have our Remont North America Orientation and Remon Revealed. Here is where you get to learn the ABCs and the 1, 2, 3s of the business. Everything you need to know, you're going to learn here. And as you know, September 18th on Thursday, the wonderful Miss Karen Kang and Miss Jen Donnelly, these wonderful ladies, got a chance to speak at convention. They will be doing the Remon Revealed. So make sure you guys tune in. It's a perfect chance to get an exposure. And as you know, on Saturday, we have our Mandarin, Hong Kong, and China team training on Saturday. So for those of you that want to get plugged in at 6 p.m., we have a team leader and above Mandarin special training. And also at 7 p.m., we have a Remon Revealed opportunity presentation at 7 p.m. with myself and the amazing director that just got promoted this weekend, Mr. Jackie Wu. And as you know, Mondays and Wednesdays is the Remon Revealed and Remon Orientation for Viva Mexico. For those of you that have Spanish speakers, this is an amazing opportunity to get some exposures and some basic training in for our Spanish speakers. And as you know, September 19th and September 20th, there will be the Remont Expo meeting, Remont Connect meeting in Santa Fe over in Mexico. Make sure you guys scan this QR code. Those of you that have a team down south in Mexico and you want to get your people connected there, scan this QR code, pass this along to your team, and we will get you guys dialed in. And as you know, this Wednesday, September 16th at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, make sure you guys plug into the company Zoom. The wonderful Miss Angie Troilo, our product and training and development manager. She is a chemist by trade, expert by day, expert by night. She is a Remon K-beauty expert. Make sure you guys get on this convention recap for products and announcements. I know they gave you this selling of the sizzle with eyeliner, mascara, cheek tones, all this cool stuff, right? So for those of you that want more information, want to get up to date, get on this call, and we will be bringing you the recap with the wonderful Miss Angie Troilo. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So I am officially done with the Friday night announcements. And those of you that are on today, I want to thank you for taking the time to be serious about your future. We're coming off at an all-time high, coming off hot. We just got done with the 2025 Riemann roadmap. And those of you, that really are committed to your future, I think a lot of you during this convention got the aha moment. You caught it. You caught the vision. The transfer of emotion, the transfer of belief has happened to you. You've come out with an all-time high and you've got excited, right? But now, coming out of this event, what is it that we really, really need to focus on? It is taking action and focusing on the right actions and doing the money-making activities. And today, what I really want to share with you today is going to be actually our 4th week of our 8-week training course on how to be the ultimate Riemann planner. Those of you that are here for week 4, I want to congratulate you. Congratulations for being on this journey with me for a whole month. We are halfway through this curriculum, and every single training is recorded, and now you're going to have a full 8-week training course at your fingertips, kind of like a visual encyclopedia where you could kind of check in, go back and go check on that mental note you remembered from the training, or you could possibly introduce a certain segment to one of your planners that might be struggling or had some questions. This is the perfect way for you guys to learn and duplicate. And I was fortunate enough, possibly about almost 20 years ago, 18 years ago, people like Mr. Timothy here, Mr. Danny Bay, even then, I was fortunate enough to have these types of leaders pour into me. And here I am today, being able to duplicate this and share the information with you. So today we're going to talk about the uncomfortable stuff, right? Which is how to be an effective recruiter, right? Now, Jim Rohn often says, do the uncomfortable till it becomes the comfortable. That's right. Do the uncomfortable till it absolutely becomes the comfortable. If you can master in doing this, anything in life is going to be, I don't want to say easy, but doable, and you will be able to conquer what it is that you so desire. Because, it's really, when it comes to recruiting, right, it's the fear of rejection or the fear of what are they going to think of me, the fear of judgment, a lot of things like that, right? But what I want to share with you today when it comes to becoming an effective recruiter, a lot of the times, whatever it is you're thinking, whatever it is you're scared of, whatever fear you have, it's not real, right? Let's look at the word fear. Did you know fear is an acronym? It's called false evidence appearing real, okay? And what I often like to emphasize and teach when it comes to recruiting is you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, and you have everything to gain and nothing to lose. Think about that. It was never yours to begin with. It would have never been yours had you not asked. So if you took the time to recruit and ask, and somebody joins your business, you're learning and growing and you're adding on. If somebody doesn't, you're still learning and growing, but your character is growing. You go back and learn, how could I have done things better? But the reality of the matter is, they were never yours to begin with, and you didn't really lose anything. So it's really the shift of your mindset on how you want to take a look at things. And once you can understand that, things are going to be a lot easier, and it's going to be a lot more carefree and fun as you build the business. So we're going to dive into this. Okay. So as we start talking about recruiting, here's what I want to share with you today. Scared money don't make money. I was in Vegas, right? We were in Vegas this past weekend, and I actually heard this saying from a blackjack dealer. I'm not an expert, in gambling. I'm pretty terrible. I show up and I give my money to the casino and I go home, right? But I remember I was at a blackjack table, I was playing, and the dealer had like a card face down, and they had a 4 facing up, right? And it says dealer hits on soft 17, right? So if I have to think that they have a 14, right? They have a 14, and my card comes out, right? And when they show my card, guess what I got? I got two aces, right? So what did I do? The dealer said, this is what the dealer says, scared money, don't make money. Would you like to do a split and, do a second hand? And I did. And it dawned on me, it's true. It's like only fortune only favors the bold. It's so true, right? Scared money don't make money. It's those that want it, those that are willing to go after it, those that have a find a way or make one attitude, right? So with that said, you have to have this scared money, don't make money recruiting attitude if you want to build a big leveraged, automatically growing without you type of business. Okay. So here's what I want to share with you guys tonight. Every successful organization must recruit. It's plain and simple, right? When it comes to Google, what are they doing? They're looking for the elite. They're looking for the smartest IQ, in schools, right? They're looking for the best. What is Sony Music Entertainment doing? They're looking for the next talent. They're constantly recruiting for the next boy band, right? What is the NBA doing? They're probably looking for the next Michael Jordan, the next LeBron James, right? The next Kobe Bryant. Well, what is the US Army doing? They're looking for new officers. They're looking for new soldiers. What is the police academy doing? They're always on the recruit to bring in new cadets to become new police officers, right? What is Elon Musk doing for Tesla? He's also looking for the greatest minds, right? The greatest minds that could join his team and make a difference in the world, right? What did the Dodgers do, right? The Dodgers actively pursued and recruited Shohei Ohtani when he became a free agent. They threw the books at him. They threw everything at him to get him onto the team, right? What is what does every organization do? They must recruit if they want to grow. You're either growing or you're dying. So why is recruiting such an important element in your business? Because it helps with further reach, aggressive expansion, and it's all about building your network. Remember, the one thing that's more important than money are people. Money comes and goes, but the real asset is people. It's not about what you know, it's who you know. And at the end of the day, it's the human interaction, that one person that you knew that became that difference maker that could change it all for you, right? So it's so important to build your network and understanding the importance of time and leverage, the value of time. Why are we doing network marketing? It's to make money. But what is money? It's a tool that allows you to live your life by your own means, right? So what is it? What is the value of time? It's a currency that we're never ever going to get back, right? Money comes and goes, but we never get our time back, right? So here in network marketing, the whole purpose is to learn how to work smart versus working hard. Teamwork makes the dream work, right? It's very simple. When you have 100 people on your team investing 10 hours of their time, you get 1,000 hours worth of your income paid out to you from that time. It's just that simple. So when it comes to recruiting, the best attitude and mindset that you should have is the people you think that will won't, and the people you think that won't will. And for those of you that are on the call today, I guarantee you you're nodding because you're agreeing with me. How many times did you get excited thinking, yeah, I think this person's going to do it and I think he'll be interested, and you went to them and you talked to them and the timing wasn't just right, right? How many times did you prejudge somebody and you thought they weren't going to do it and you saw them end up on someone else's organization, right? That's a big mistake, right? That's a money mistake, right? That's gonna hurt, right? The wallet is bruised and it kind of hurts, right? It's not fun when you see that, right? And oftentimes the people that you overlooked and you didn't even try, they will join your business. And I'll tell you a little secret why. The reason why this is because before you ever talk to somebody, they were already a yes and they were already a no. You get what I'm saying? Like when I came in through the door, ready to start network marketing happened to be at the crossroads when I was paying attention. But I was already a yes because I was looking for something. I was looking for an opportunity. I knew deep down in my heart of hearts, I need to go make money. I need to find a new career path. I need to find something to do. And at that right moment in time, network marketing came into my life. And on the flip side, this could happen to somebody else. Maybe somebody is going through grief and they lost a loved one, or they're going through some drastic changes in their life that doesn't allow them to allocate time. You know, if you make a decision, anybody could technically do this, but you get what I'm saying, right? The circumstances just doesn't add up for that person at that time. So what I want you to understand is when it comes to recruiting, it's not about convincing, but it's about sorting and finding the ones that are yes, right? And also at times you have to also accept the fact that it's also timing in someone's life, right? So, you know, even for me, if I had had an extensive music career and my career was still ongoing, the timing just might not have been right. You know what I mean? But because the timing was right, you know, whether it was a rug pull or things happened for me for a reason, the timing in my life where I had time, I was open, I was humble enough to really want something else and take a look at something. It was all about timing, right? So when it comes to recruiting, it's not really about your talent and how persuasive you are, but becoming a good recruiter is also about having good awareness and having the foresight to be able to see, maybe read some body language, maybe, read the hinted indicators in their words. And when you understand how to do this, you will become a much smoother recruiter and understand that the people you think that will, they won't, and the people you think that won't, will. This theory and rule and law will never ever change, right? So what does that mean? So what is the ultimate mission? Never ever ever prejudge. Don't prejudge. Even if you think someone is a dud, did you know a dud can bring a stud, right? So the whole point here is to sort and let the law of averages work in your favor. All right. Now, today I want to talk to you about learning to succeed by failing. So there's a video here I want to share with you guys. His name is Brian Tracy. In some of my other trainings, you got to see some of these clips that I shared with you. But this gentleman's trainings had a profound impact on my life because he's not so philosophical, but he's very simplistic in a way where he gets you to understand and go, oh, I get it. That is so true. It's so simple how he breaks things down to the core, where it's just so easy that all you need to do is take the action and apply. So without further ado, let's watch this video and I'll kind of elaborate on the things that he's saying. Let me see.
Is the greatest single obstacle. Refuse to consider the possibility of failure. The fear of failure is the greatest single obstacle to success in adult life. It's not the failure that holds you back. The failure makes you smarter. The rule is this, is there's no such thing as failure, there's only feedback. Is when you try something that doesn't work, you get feedback, not failure. So what you do is you say, oh, that's an interesting bit of feedback, and you pick yourself up, and you move forward, and you have more feedback, and you move forward.
You guys catch that? I just talked about fear. Fear. F-E-A-R. Fear. False evidence appearing real. I know that these acronyms that I'm telling you could sound corny, but it's absolutely real. Because you know why? We're selfish beings by nature. Nobody cares. Nobody's been paying attention. It's only your own figment of your imagination where you're looking at false evidence appearing real. And a lot of times people don't take action. People don't take on the challenge to succeed in life because they're scared of failing. But did you know failing is the big brother to success? The other side of fear lies success, right? They go hand in hand. That's like saying, I don't want to breathe if I have to exhale. Inhaling and exhaling go hand in hand. Failure is the building blocks of success, right? So in order to be successful, failing forward, the whole key is to become coachable, right? You want to be coachable in this business. It's not about let me do it first and let me show everybody and then maybe my friends will join. No, be coachable. Listen to your sponsor, listen to your upline, listen to your senior manager, listen to your team leader, listen to your director, listen to your senior director, listen to your national director, because all these leaders have failed before you. And everything you're going to do and fail, they probably already did it. Everything you're going to do, they already understand it. So the whole point here is to be coachable and do the things that your uplines did properly, right? You got to be bad before you can get good, right? So when it comes to recruiting, just do the motions. Just do it. You know what I mean? It's not really about what people are going to think of you or what kind of results you're going to get. You know, a little secret, you know, you talk to 10, you're going to get one. And a lot of times it's a lot easier to have the mindset, I'm going to go into this one-on-one, into this recruiting session just to get that one more no out of the way, right? When you go in with that mindset, with no fear, having nothing to lose, that's when actually your presentation is actually good because your guard isn't up, right? You have no expectation. And when you do it, you're just getting it out of the way, right? And sometimes people actually join. And that's when a realization happens. That's when the light bulb goes on, where you start to realize in those moments where you didn't really try, you tried to do it because you wanted to just get it out the way, but somebody said yes. There's another indicating factor like, hey, maybe it's not so much about what I say, or it's not so much about how convincing I am, but maybe about the energy, or like Miss Brianna Michaels talked about during convention, maybe about the posture that I had, right? For some of you that have this attitude, I have nothing to lose. I'm just gonna get that, you know, seventh no out of the way so I could get to the 10th yes, 10 out of 1 yes, and you did it and that person happens to sign up, right? There's a lot of learning curves that happen into that, right? So you have to have this attitude, I gotta be bad before I get good. But people don't even know that you're bad. Okay. And the moment you realize that you get good is when you're confident and you can do this with your eyes closed and you're not even thinking twice how you do the presentation. And from that moment on, you're just getting better and better and better and better. Okay. Also, yesterday's home runs do not win today's games. So a lot of times when people join our business, there's a lot of affluent people that join our business, people that have been successful in other careers, people that have might been doctors or lawyers or very, very successful entrepreneurs or investors in real estate. But what I want to tell you is, remember, you can't be it's like Michael Jordan was the greatest of all time in basketball, but you can't expect Michael Jordan to get the same treatment when he goes to play baseball, right? Even Michael Jordan, when he showed up on the baseball field, he was a rookie. He had to be coachable. He wasn't the GOAT of baseball, right? Same thing. When you come into this business, it is absolutely important to understand that even though you have money or you're successful, you have to have the attitude that I'm still learning, I'm here to grow, and some of my successes elsewhere might not correlate and relate to the business here. And remember, there are no losers in the business, there are only quitters, right? And this has to do with a lot of the times with goal setting, right? A lot of the times it's so important to manage your team's expectations, right? When you pound senior manager onto these people, and they don't even understand why they're running for it, by the time they hit manager, senior manager, a lot of the times they burn out and quit, right? So you have to understand that this is a long-term deal. This is a long-term play. This is not a go to manager and quit, go to manager, senior manager, team leader, and arrive at life. No, this is a long-term play. It's a 2 to 5 year run, but you could build actual wealth, you could build residual income. And so as long as you don't quit, you will not fail in this business. And one more thing, you either win or you learn, because in our business it's all about growing, right? You know, in life, you know, in school we're taught don't copy your peers, don't copy the smart kids, but in life it's all about copying the successful people, right? If you want to increase your rate of success, you must double your rate of failure, because success lies on the other far side of failure. So remember, learn to
Used to
succeed
consider
by
the
failing forward. Okay. So as you become a recruiter in this business, you have to understand that there's 4 stages of leadership competency, and this actually correlates into your recruiting skill. You see, if you look at great recruiters, here's what I want you to know, especially for the new people on the call today. Really, really good recruiters, did you know they have a lot of very high count of no's, like a lot more rejections, very, very, very high count of rejection, more than you would imagine. Great recruiters have this. Do you know why? The reason why is because they're playing on a different playing field than most of you. Because what great recruiters are really focused on, they're not focused on the emotion or what someone might think of them or what they're going to say. They're focused on only getting the job done. And a great recruiter, to them, new recruits, it's like a scoreboard, right? And because they understand the law of averages work in their favor, they literally spend 1 minute on 100 people rather than 100 minutes on one person, right? So what they do is they expand the level of exposure they can have, and they understand they're going to get a lot more no's, but the volume of more no's that they're willing to get, that much more yeses are going to increase from the more volume of no's, right? So understand great recruiters are playing at a different pace, a different formula. They're not really emotional. They are just result-based players, right? And that's what really recruiters do. They grab a new person, get their list, and it's called taprooting, right? Brianna Michaels talked about a taprooting. When a brand new person comes in, you grab their list. That's the brand new ammunition, that brand new fresh warm market. You grab that list, then you start booking meetings with people on that list, and then you grab the new person's list again and you expand that list, right? This is what great recruiters do without thinking twice. So I want to talk about the stages of leadership. Unconscious incompetence means this needs training. This stage needs massive training. Okay, you must get trained. No awareness, no skill. Think about a brand new planner that just got started in the business, right? You know, they're not saying the right things. They might have some verbal diarrhea. You know, you told them not to say anything, but you know, they're creating more of an analysis paralysis, creating more questions, right? This is actually for brand new planners, right? But this is like a brand new baby as well, right? Remember how Mr. Danny May talked about brand new planners in the business, right? Think of like how like you went through this hard process of starting to recruit somebody, bring them on a list. You went through the process of following up. You did the demo, you did the K pop up, and you finally recruited them, right? Same thing, right? You got pregnant, right? And you went through 9 months of just developing this baby, and finally you gave birth, right? And what do you say? Call me when you get to college, right? No, it requires nurturing, right? So when a brand new person starts, you have to understand that they are unconscious and incompetent, right? But as they get into the system, right, and they start practicing presentations, they practice the K pop-ups, they get used to the uncomfortable, they go out and do the recruiting activities. At some point, they're going to become conscious and still incompetent. And what that means is at that point, when they go out and do these K pop-ups, they do the one-on-ones, they've sat with the prospects with their upline at that point, the brand new person, they identify the need to learn. Like, man, I don't know what I don't know. Man, I need my upline for help. I'm going to have to borrow my upline's confidence. I'm going to have to borrow his story. I'm going to have to become a better student. And that's really when the training begins, right? So a lot of the times when a brand new planner starts in the business, their success in the beginning will be highly dependent on the upline, right? And remember how in my comp plan drives behavior training, right? Comp plan truly drives behavior because a planner doesn't really know what they're doing in the beginning. This is why we give managers and senior managers and team leaders really, really great open line, open group bonus incentives to build up leaders, support the downline because of the conscious competency, right? The leadership competency that I'm talking today. So comp plan drives this actual behavior because at this point, by the time they're a manager, they identify the need to learn and the training begins and they understand and recognize the importance of orientation, Remon reveal, these Friday night Zooms, and they start to plug in, and that's when the growing starts to happen, right? Now, what is conscious competence? It's of having partial awareness, learning the skill set, ability to lead and duplicate, but you're not quite there just yet. I would say, you know, level 3 would be kind of like a brand new promoted team leader, like newly promoted team leader. Month 1, they're just going to start tasting their first open line, full level business, right? So when you get to here, you know, that's when you understand you still need support. You're a leader. You have the ability to lead, but you still have some skills to refine, right? Now, when you get to unconscious competence, this is where I would say like you're a fully qualified director, you have some momentum, your business is growing, you know, like people like Miss Kimberly Weimer, Miss Kate Twig, Ms. Courtney, like these influencers as well, right? They're not just influencers that sell product just from their page. They're actually building teams and legs and hitting these director positions, right? But where are they at, right? They first started as unconscious incompetence, but as they mastered the mundane, mastered the K pop-up, mastered the things that they were good at, right? It became unconscious competence, right? What does that mean? You can do this with your eyes closed. You're fully aware. Your leadership becomes second nature. When this is second nature, it's like when I'm talking second nature, you're doing a K pop-up, you're doing a one-on-one, you're doing a presentation, all the while the information is all going out, but your eyes are reading the room, you're reading the energy, you're reading the body language, you're seeing the expression on this person's face, you're seeing the person rubbing their hands, smelling their skin, smiling. That's what they're in the buying mode, right? So all of this is happening in a K pop-up or a meeting while you're doing the presentation, but you're able to read everything else going around while the presentation is happening, right? That's what I call unconscious competence. Great recruiters have a keen ability to do this, right? And anybody can get to this stage. All you have to do is just practice the mundane over and over and over and over and over and over again to the point where you know exactly what you're doing, you know exactly what you're saying, and now you can see other things going on. And when you get to this place, it's kind of fun because that's when you could kind of understand the energy, people's body language, right? What they're thinking. You already know this, right? And then that's when your intuition starts to get really, really refined, right? So leaders that are in level 4 unconscious competence, they are very, very intuitive and high in posture, right? And anybody can get to this place so as long as you do the practice and the work necessary to create that awareness and that second nature muscle memory, okay? So now, what makes you actually a great recruiter is understanding that there's different types of people with different characteristics and personalities, right? Now, wherever you go in the world, right? My mentor told me this about 18 years ago. They said, wherever you go in the world, red, brown, yellow, black, or white, whatever race they are, they might have a different name and a different face, but wherever you go in the world, you're going to meet 4 types of people in the world. And what my mentor taught me was you need to kind of learn how to speak everyone's language, right? Because that's how you're going to create trust. That's how you're going to create this level of trust and this level of connection, right? And what they told me was there's 4 types of people in the world, right? And these are the 4 personalities, and it's very, very effective for communication skills. And they told me there's 4, or it's like 4 animals or 4 different colors, but it's either a red or a shark, right? So what are sharks? What's a red, right? So a red is kind of, they're very formal. They like to look sharp, neat, and clean. They have the need to be right. They're very charismatic. They're very money driven. They like to flex. They like nice things, right? Do you guys know a couple people like that? I do too, right? The bottom animal that I want to also address is called the dolphin, right? So this person is very informal, very flamboyant sometimes, has very, very bright colors, is a promoter, very, very sociable, very, very likable, lots of friends, the funny guy. Do you guys know someone like that? Possibly someone like maybe Mr. Tim Herr, right? Very, very laughable, likable, super outgoing, right? So these are the dolphins, right? Now, moving over to the top left, right? I call these the greens or like the sea urchin, right? I like to say analysis paralysis, right? But these are literally the smart elite people of the world, right? Your engineers, your doctors, your lawyers, people that are data driven, people that want to know what are the policies and procedures, what's the comp plan, what's the percentage payout, whatever it is, these are all data driven people, right? And at the bottom, as you can see, it can either be called a yellow or a whale. And these people are very, very servant mentality type people. We are the world, right? Others come first, right? People that are very, very heavily into charitable things, people with a big heart, right? And what really helped me to be a great recruiter was understanding that wherever you go, people are going to be one of these four characteristics or personalities, right? And what makes you really a great recruiter is when you go to a sit down, like a Starbucks or a K-pop up or any type of interaction, the best advice I could give you, especially maybe on a Zoom, is I have the prospect do about 5 to 10 minutes of talking and explaining who they are and letting them communicate themselves to me. Now, when you let a prospect do this, two major things end up happening. Number one, without them even knowing it, because they're talking and being heard and getting excited to share their story, they start to become more open-minded. Their heart starts to open up. They become receptive to ideas and what you might have to say. Okay. So they're going to be very, very happy. But also, as you hear them speak, you're going to be able to find an indication of what characteristic and personality this person is, right? And based on that, you're going to be able to navigate the conversation on how you could relate to them, on how Remon could possibly change their skin or maybe even possibly change their financial situation, right? So if you sat with a guy like that is a shark, like a guy like me, right? I would most likely talk about what? Probably the nice things, the income potential, probably the nice toys you can buy, things that this person might relate with, right? If I were to sit with a dolphin, I would probably talk a lot about travel, lifestyle, family, right? If I sat down with a green or an urchin, I would probably be talking a lot about the data, the nanoliposomal technology, the Byungpool, the tiger grass, the Jeju lava energy water, a lot of data, right? Now, if I was sitting with a yellow or a whale, I would possibly talk about how I could retire your parents, maybe pay off your parents' mortgage, how we can do greater things in this world with money, which is a tool that could help change someone's quality of life. And I've long found that these types of psychological indicators is very, very effective in helping you become a great recruiter. This often helped me a lot. This is what really helped me stay in the game of recruiting. I know it sounds kind of funny, but it's absolutely true. I want you guys to put this to the test. When you're sitting with somebody, watch what they're wearing, right? Are they wearing dark colors? Are they very attention to detail in their suit, right? Are they wearing a Rolex, right? Those are the indicators, right? Is somebody wearing bright colors, right? They're very, very social. They like social events. They like to go out on Friday nights, right? These are all indicators that can help you understand how to navigate your conversation when you guys are prospecting. Okay. Now, moving on to the next slide. Another effective way to be a great recruiter is applying something called the form, right? So remember how when I sit with a prospect, I ask them a lot of questions and I let them talk. But a lot of the times, the way I navigate the conversation is I ask about family, occupation, recreation, what motivates them, or maybe what type of a financial situation they're looking for. When a lot of these little hints and little taglines are thrown out, that is really the signal to listen. And when you listen, then you're going to be able to really take them down a conversation, more catered to them, and more them being able to see themselves, envision themselves being a part of the Remon opportunity and potentially changing their lives, right? So what I like to communicate is really the global trends, right? What makes really Remon really, really effective and powerful in the recruiting process is K-beauty is huge worldwide in the global trends in the retail world outside of our industry. It needs no introduction. It needs no convincing. Anybody that understands washing your face, one way, shape, or form, they understand and know K-beauty, right? So it's all about being a great, effective communicator, how to benefit from a booming industry in the likes of how I talk about positioning yourself in an industry where there's massive buying power, right? Front running a trend such as K-beauty, right? The gig economy has been triggered, 75 million people and where they fit in. Guys, COVID has sped this up, right? Today, we're doing trainings on Zoom. About 15 years ago, I would have never thought in my wildest dreams I'd be hosting, a Zoom with close to almost what? Almost close to over 150 people on this call hearing the training, right? So the times have changed, right? So a lot of people post-COVID, they wanted to what? Join the gig economy, be able to make money from home. People understood the power of time, the power of platform, being able to have a voice, the speed of information. People have awakened, and now we have a booming 75 million gig economy, right? Now, understand this, right? Think about it, especially for the women, right? When I'm out there recruiting, especially the women, I like to paint a picture like this, right? If a woman is either working part-time or she has a husband that has a full-time career and she's a stay-at-home mom, right? Think about it. Most women want to create something special for themselves, right? They want to be able to go buy that nice Chanel bag without having to get permission from their husband. Or, when their child wants something from school, they don't want to have to worry about budgets and be able to freely get something for their child, right? But think about it like this. If you can help the average woman make 5 to 7 grand a month, and her husband has a full-time career, and they get 2 paid family vacations a year, and they get to make money part-time from home, that person's never ever going to quit. You see, it's not what you say, it's how you say it, right? It's not really the blowing of the wind, but the set of the sail, right? So it's all about understanding who you're talking to, letting them speak, and understanding what way to talk to these people in a way where they understand the language that you're speaking to them, right? So the realistic achievable goals that I like to really talk about is doing maybe $500 a week, doing maybe $2,000-3,000 a month part-time, right? The big money is great too, but the realistic stuff to, pay off a car, pay your mortgage, maybe some tuition, cell phone bills. I like to start there and really emphasize the beauty of part-time so people can also, not feel pressured to make it happen, but they could get in where they ultimately fit in, right? Also, it is absolutely important to maintain a positive mindset. You can't say the wrong thing to the right person or the right thing to the wrong person, right? People will remember how you made them feel, right? Now, when you're in the recruiting mode, right? Long time ago when I was younger, I always had this aggressive, pushy attitude, like, you're gonna scare, um, you know, 1 out of 10, by not being by being aggressive, and 9 out of 10 would have had a chance to start just by being a little bit more pushy. Yeah, that could be true. And sometimes I learned, some people will say yes because the sake of that moment, because they didn't want to say no. But what I will tell you is this, right? Certain people, they'll remember how you made them feel. They're not going to remember how good you did the presentation, or or how savvy you were. They're going to remember how you made them feel, even if they didn't join, right? Even if they weren't financially there, they weren't able to, they had a financial situation, they were embarrassed, they couldn't tell you, but you took it gracefully and you made them feel good. And when the financial opportunity came for them to get some products and started, bam, they got started, right? That is the difference maker, right? So remember, as you recruit, as you do a presentation, remember, they're not going to remember anything. They're only going to remember, is this real? What's in it for me? And how you made them feel, right? So make sure you make them feel good, but also have the confidence, have the posture that nobody's going to be judging you. Just have confidence, and they're only going to remember that you made them feel good and they use some good products, right? Ignorance on fire is better than knowledge on ice. This is absolutely true, guys. Uh, you know, it's the same thing as how I say, this business is easy to do fast and hard to do slow, right? This business is about emotion, how we talk about the transfer emotion, right? It's not really about the data, it's about the leaning forward, enthusiastic emotion, the FOMO. People will be scared not to follow you if they knew where you're going to go, right? It's timing, not talent. Spend 1 minute on 100 people, not 100 minutes on one person. There is no need to drag somebody across the start line to get them across the finish line. Amateurs find ways to complain, professionals find solutions. And always remember, facts tell, stories sell. Be a great storyteller in the business. And remember, as you go out there and recruit, don't be gun shy, don't be shy. Don't be afraid to put your brand new people on the spot. Remember, you have a contact list, phone contacts, email contacts, social media contacts. Okay. You're going to be able to find a list of at least 150 to 300 people if you utilize these sources. Talk to 10 and possibly 3 are going to join your business. Another thing I like to emphasize is use the 24-hour game plan. Take immediate action and compile the warm market list now. Now, when the iron is hot, beat your box, right? As soon as you enroll a new person, make sure you start the money-making activities now. Don't wait for the box. Don't wait for the fizz to dry out. When the iron is hot, strike now before the product arrives. Make sure the upline uses their products and starts the 24-hour game plan, whether it's to lock in a customer, new partner, start the Beat Your Box campaign. Invite your top 5, 7 to closest friends and plug into the Zoom meeting ASAP. As you know, this business is built on event to event, on pending events, right? Every pending event is designed to bring you a result. Your goal is to invite and get them in front of the next presenter, not explain exactly what I said, right? It's easier to do fast than to do slow. Finalize a new recruit or customer in 24 hours. Results is the name of the game for the new planner. Now, staying in phase 1 is absolutely important. It's all leading by example from the front with speed and exposure. Phase 2 is often falling into management mode. Phase 3 is managing the manager. And phase 4, negative mindset and verge of quitting. Don't fall into any other phase. Stay in phase 1. Like I said, success loves speed. Create a burst of intense activity in a short period amount of time. It's kind of like how a plane takes flight, right? Slow and steady doesn't work in our industry. It requires a strong push until your business can take off like a plane takes off with altitude. Give it a strong push for a short period of time, a burst of energy. This is the secret and key to creating massive momentum. All right. Now, the fortune is in the follow-up. As you know, not everybody's going to say yes, right? 58% of salespeople completely quit after a single call. 20% of people make 2 calls before giving up. 7% of people make 3 calls. 15%, check this out, make 5 calls or more. 15% of the salespeople that make 7 calls or more produce about 75% of the business. This is absolutely true. Maybe in car sales, stocks, any type of sales, even in network marketing, this is absolutely true. Mr. Timothy Herr will tell you, probably 90% of all the directors in our business directly came from my recruiting, from my pushiness, my thick skin, my audacity. Okay. Like I've probably recruited 90% of the directors in our business, but I will tell you this with full conviction. Okay. Most of my directors that I recruited, they all got started maybe on the 8th or 9th try. This is absolutely true. Mr. Robert Nahn, he's a senior director. He's got business all over Asia. He will tell you, he talks about it in his promotion. I told Mr. Chris Kim no for 7 months. And on the 8th time, I said yes. This is absolutely true. And if you know the formula, right? If you know the result, it's like, have you guys seen like Back to the Future 2? You know, the sports almanac Marty takes back into time and he's able to win those bets. If you knew you had the winning hand, you could win the bet. What would you do? Right? If you knew more than likely, okay, 75% of my recruits are going to come after the 7th try, what would you do? The information is here before you. This is absolutely true. What made me a great recruiter? I stuck to the basics and I just did it. I'm not lying. There is no magic formula or a magic wand or a spell that makes you a Pazam great recruiter. It was this. I knew this 18 years ago. Okay, just keep trying. Just hit the tree, hit the tree, hit the tree, hit the tree. And maybe on the 8th, 9th time, then I would go into follow-up mode. Like, hey, okay, keep a friendship, you know, or it's a no. But I knew, right? I had nothing to lose and everything to gain. Nothing to lose and everything to gain. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take, okay? This is what's going to make you a great recruiter. Now, fortune's in the follow-up. It's called 80-20 rule, okay? You want to spend 80% of your time on the new recruits, 20% of the time playing the long game on the maybes, and at some point, they're going to say yes. Spend 0% of your time with negative people. Negativity is like a cancer that spreads too. All right. So here's your call to action. I know I'm a little bit over time, but it's the handful of new recruits that can make or change your career. Every leader's business was in a slump, but how they overcame it was they focused on a handful of new recruits. I talked about this at convention. This was the call to action. Sponsored 10 Frontline. Get a brand new warm market. It's easier to give birth to new life than to raise the dead. It's gonna get a brand new person excited about K-Beauty, excited about a brand new opportunity, excited to run with you, and it's gonna completely change the game. Sponsor 10, go front line, go wide. By the time you become a team leader and have 3 senior manager legs, you're going to have 7 major open line legs. That's going to cash you in. Okay. Make sure you get the 1000 SP, unlock your uni level. And for those of you that are planners, managers, senior managers, okay, it's a very prestigious position. It's a lifetime rank, but the call to action, go team leader. This is the meat of the move. This is the prestigious position. This is where your life is going to financially change. This is the start of the beginning. Go team leader. So with that said, I'm very, very excited that everybody had a chance to get on this 4-week training. You guys are halfway through. We're coming off hot off the convention. I want to thank everybody that took the time to be on this training. I know how valuable your time is, but we all know how important your success is as well. So I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Next week, I will be covering how to seal the deal, on how to close, what kind of attitude, what kind of mentality, what you do to become a closer and actually get that person on the team. So make sure you guys plug in next week. This will be the 5th week for the 8-week training course. I want to thank everybody that gave me your time today. Have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy your weekend. Have a great time with family. I'll see you guys next week. I'll see you guys at the top. Let's go hard. Go team leader, go director, go senior director, go national director. I will see you guys at the top. Love you guys. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.